Hi, guys, learners of anatomy. I am so excited about creating this class and or finishing it up and making it available for you guys. We're gonna learn a lot this summer about what makes up your body and how it works. So that's pretty darn cool. Fundamentally speaking, the video that the class sorry is quite simply structured. You watch a lot of videos first, then you integrate material in those booklets, those things that I make you buy. And then thirdly, what you're going to do is I have all these paragraphs that I've written up, these questionnaires, and I explain the whole material again in sort of a different format, and then at the end I make a question. So these are all in these booklets as well. And the best thing is I make videos of everything. So if you don't feel like or you don't understand the question, in the back you got these barcodes. You just scan them and get your video to learn about them. And I recorded that, so that should be hopefully easy peasy. There you go, lemon squeezy. And you know what, always if you have a question, just text me and we can set up a phone conversation or at least a Zoom or something like that. So that's kind of cool too. So that's kind of how the fundamental structure works. And then also in the first week, we have a few discussion forums where you talk to each other, sort of discussing concepts a little bit. They're also in those booklets as well, but I dissect them out. And then online, you have these conversations. The good thing is you don't have to type. You don't have to type them. You can actually make a video or make an audio. So that's pretty darn cool, I think, personally. And if you do the online app, Canvas, our online system has an app. If you do that, you can just link your videos you make or your audio. So that's kind of nice. Okay, what else is there? Oh, and then we have coloring and labeling exercises. And those, like I gave you two in those booklets, those are those lists. See those lists of all the terms. And then you have these pictures where you label them and say what term is what, and you color where what it pertains to. So that's kind of nice, kindergarten level, a lot of the thing coloring stuff, but it takes you, give you time to work with the material, and gives you time to work with the material and marinate it into this brain up here kind of thing. So that's what that looks like. So let's else. Oh, and then of course we have tests. Oh, grading wise, all of that what I just talked about, you can redo it over and over, like with the questions, and have as much time as you want. Or you can finish up if you don't do all the terms or something is wrong and I catch it or so. You can redo it or finish it up, and then I give you all the points. And so it's really a lot mostly about doing things. So keep up with the work and don't fall behind on that stuff. And that way you learn everything as we go. And then I do have three exams that we do, not cumulative. They're open books, so that's cool. But they're not repetitive, and you have a time limit to them. But you can use the information. I show you how to study for them. The first one is a multiple choice and the true false. The second one of those is a more of a. I'm pointing to anatomy terms on things on muscles and bones, and you tell me what it is, or actually, you pick it from the list, and then you tell me what it is. You type it into the screen, and then the third one is a combination of the two. So that's what that is like. So let me show you on the real screen real quick a little bit. So the first thing when you actually sign in and you get anywhere is you get to this thing. That's the home page. The home page talks a little bit about what we're doing, has a contact information link here, and then down here is a few buttons: syllabus, introduction, Zoom. I do a Zoom every Monday at 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. We meet on Zoom. We have a preview of what's going on this week. I talk about the previous week, go a little bit deeper. You can ask me questions and that kind of stuff, so that's kind of cool. And then I record it. So I put the recording behind on where you can see where it is. And this one goes to the first one, because the first one talks about how this course is structured, and so that way we can, if you're a little late or so, if you want to review that. So that's where that's linked. Syllabus, study tools, we'll talk about, and then study group link. That's kind of cool because I made a Zoom room that's open all the time. And so all the time you can go onto that Zoom room and meet with each other online. So you don't have to meet in person, you can meet online, because not everybody lives in the same place, and it's hard to meet in a cafe sometimes. Also, I can make classes up there, or we make some study groups or something like that. So that's kind of cool. So let's go right into this. So if we're looking at that, go into the material, we're looking at the stuff with structured and weekly format, generally speaking. First two modules, Canvas calls these modules, is a learning tool. So that's kind of nice a little bit because, anatomy terms, college stuff. A lot of that, I talk about the different learning styles in here. I also talk about the how we study easiest, and then I have a little video to it. And then afterwards, we also talk about sort of why I do flashcards, why I like flashcards, especially for the sciences, where it's sort of memorization or structure, that kind of stuff. And then an orientation is where we talk about the syllabus. We talk about who am I introduce myself. How do I talk to you? How do you talk to me? And that kind of stuff. We like diversity. I have a tutorial on making videos through Canvas, that sort of stuff. And then we go right into the weeks. And the first week is an introduction. I mean, the first week has a couple extra things to it, but not too many. But internally, all of them are structured like an introduction, a learn section, an apply, a lab, and then at the end, a wrap up section. The introduction section basically gives me a space to post the Zoom recording behind here. The objective section gives me an area where I give you like a table of content. What are we doing this week? What are you learning? What activities are we doing? How many points are they and when are they due? So that's sort of an overview thing. And then we get right into the learning. And the learning, we already just talked about the videos. If you look in the booklets, the cool thing is there, you get right to these. You have these barcodes that get right to them. You can click them, so you can go into a park and just do everything in the park. If you go through the computer or through the app, you also have these links right in here. So you have lecture videos where I talk into the computer, and then some when I talk into the class directly. So it looks like a lot, but you don't have to watch all of them. You just watch each one or this other set, and you see which one you like both, or you flip them around a little bit. It's both the same material. And then at the bottom, I have everything that's really pertinent in bullet points. Because what I did is my booklets are really an extraction of multiple textbooks combined. Because I've taught this stuff many times in different formats, different classes. I've done all the different levels of anatomy class at Peralta. And then I sort of extracted all the stuff that seems most important to me. And I made these bullet points, I made these booklets. I also made, and then the pictures and all of that came together. So that's sort of that one there. And then from there you work the material and you massage it and you figure it out, bring it into the brain cells that way. And I have these questions that we just talked about before in the booklets, and then they're here in Canvas. So if you do them on the booklet first, like you go in a park and you have it nice and relaxed, or you're in a car trip and you don't have necessarily internet or so, or you want to just do them lazy, or not lazy, but just like relaxed in a booklet format, not in a screen all the time. You can do that in the paper, and then you transfer it over here. You go into the quiz where it says quiz, and in there you have all these questions read again, or spelled out again in this format. And so you do that and you process the material ultimately through that, so then the program gives you credit for it. The good thing too is everything is video. So all of these is videos I had done in class before COVID, where I went through those questions as well. So if you feel one day you feel like you don't feel like it, or you feel like you don't understand this stuff or whatever, watch that video and see if that helps you. Or if you feel lazy, you don't always have. This is a pretty fast class, so organize yourself. Be smart about that. And then we have labeling and coloring exercises, and those are the ones with this emoji, and those are the ones that I showed you on the paper. We just set behind it. We set it behind it that you can also annotate them inside here, or you do them on the paper and you upload them and make a picture of it and put it in. So you can do all kind of formats, but you upload your work onto this format Canvas here. At the end of each assignment, there is a rubric, looks like that. In the discussions, it's on top by the 3 dot points, stacked dots. You press on those, but it tells you again what do I want from you, what does it give you, and if you're not quite there yet. So I usually again give you 0 points or all the points. So you can improve on it and then just upload it again, and then we give you all the points. So that's for that. And then week speaking, lastly, here we finish up the week with a wrap up. In the wrap up, we have a great place of resources. I listed a YouTube link there that goes to UC Berkeley, to Marion Diamond. This lady here, she is very esteemed, very cool person, used to own Einstein's brain, a research person at Berkeley, and taught really on the chalkboard and wrote everything down. So if you're kind of nitty and a little bit nerdy about this stuff, go check her out once. It's really kind of cool. I also have in there a wrap up, what did we learn this week? Oops. What did we learn this week? What did you do? And then we have a sort of a place where you reflect a little bit, a Padlet. And the Padlet goes like, looks like that. You post something, you click in here, and you post something, gives you this way of posting, and then you post on. You write something, and what I want you to write is a question that didn't make sense to you, or is a thing that made a lot of sense to you all of a sudden, and you understood it because of that. And then the other students can read it, and can answer you, or can say like, oh wow, now I understand it too, for example. Or you can also write like, God, I'm really tired of this stuff, I don't want all this. And it's okay to do that, because I read those, I learn. I'm not judging you how you talk about it. I've been teaching this stuff for a long time. I'm very fine with a little bit of critique, especially if it also helps me. If you have ideas of how to make it better, please reach out, because we want to make it as good as an experience for you as possible. So that's pretty much that in terms of all of the weeks concerned. And then we got a few tests, and the tests are right in here. And I put the first one up. There's 3 of them we talked about. And what I want you to pay attention to first is the review. Because, again, the first test is multiple choice true, false, and blah, blah, blah. The second is filling things in. And by the time you get there, we do some practicing on the Zooms. And then, but go to the reviews early. Like for this first test, go to the review the first day you get into the class. Print it out if you can on a PDF, or look at all these bullets as you work your way through the material. You make sure you understand all these writings here, because those are the ones that are on the test. And if you know those and you have that on you, you can write it. It's very good to write it. You don't have to print it out. Write it. Write them out, because if you write it, you put it into that brain. Very good idea. So don't worry about it if you don't have a printer. Just type them out, or write them out, because then you have, or even on the phone. But then you have them ready for when you take the test. And the test is open book. I give you plenty of time, and you can go through that. And you do just fine on the test. So I want to make sure you know that. That's very, very important. All right. So with that, I think we're pretty good. I really appreciate you paying attention to me. And if you have any questions, reach out. Do not hesitate. Give me a text, and we'll make up a phone call or a Zoom, and we'll figure out the problem. First,